Okay,
But
Roxanne
yeah,
says she
you
can
can
see
see.
us. Hi, Taboho. Thank you for watching.
I think we can get started and then everybody else will join us along the way. Welcome
Sure.
everybody to another session of Talking Books with Kat. Today we are joined by a lovely avid reader. Hi Raj, can you kindly please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Hi, Kat. Absolutely. So, I'm HrudayaRaj, the reading fairy, and I think for as long as I can remember, books have been a very big part of my life. Um, sorry. So, that in part is attributed to my mother. Now, it's often said that children will mimic what they see. And I think that was
Mm-hmm.
very true because my mother was always with the book in hand. She loved her fiction novels and she actually taught me how to read when I was 4 years old. So before I went to school, I
Mm-hmm.
knew how to read. And the very first book that I read was The Sandalwood Girl. Um, and I think since then, I've just loved that fiction can be this beautiful escape.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think some of the most hollow times were when I had major exams and in those years of heavy academics where there wasn't time or space to read for the joy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that I'm able to actually work with authors and
Yeah.
be an art reader, it just, the joy is there and I'm so thankful for it. Yeah, that's me.
Really lovely. Really lovely. So you mentioned that you read your first ever book in when you were 4. Do you still remember it?
Yes, I do. Um, so the Sandalwood Girl was a little toy. She was a doll, and she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to become a real girl. And there was a journey that she would have to take, and it would include going over to Blue Mountain, which she would
Mm-hmm.
do with the assistance of a friend. Now, I never read the books that came afterwards, and unfortunately, I don't know where my copy of it is. But I do still actually have the first book that was ever read to me, which was Little Puppy. And it's actually on one of the higher up shelves right now, so I can't reach it, but Little
Okay,
Puppy
no
is still
problem.
with me.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. Welcome Delight. Hi Ida. Hope you're good. Sort of like Pinocchio in a sense. Roxanne is saying it's sort of like Pinocchio in a sense.
Hmm.
Um, so you did mention that you agreed. How is it like to read a book that is not yet out there, and how do you go about it for those who don't know what ACT reading is?
Okay, so for the first part of your question, it feels
Mhm.
amazing, especially when it's authors that I'm quite fond of or I'm familiar with their work. Examples of this would be Lily Riley and I think all of the women from the Winter Bliss series. And
Yeah.
so to arc read for them, knowing that I've waited a year and I don't have to wait the additional couple of months is so cool.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
I love that. And so how I got involved in it was I would see that these were authors that I obviously had read their work before. And I started
Mm-hmm.
following them on social media and I'd see that they put out, ARC calls and didn't fully understand what that meant initially, but I knew that I wanted to read it. So I got in touch and sometimes it was as basic as DMing someone saying, "Hi, I'm a really big fan of your work. Could I
Mm.
be an art reader for you?" And more times than not, they'll say yes. Even if they can't have you
I mean,
on
who
board
wouldn't say
for
no? Who would say no to somebody wanting to help you? Because I feel like ACT readers, or you also help point out things in the book, or those are better readers, I'm not sure. But you actually help and give honest feedback compared to somebody just randomly reviewing a book. Because when
yes.
reviewing you, there are places you don't want to touch. You want to be on the good side. But yeah, I understand you. So if I ever needed an ACT reader, I know I'm coming to you.
Yes. And so one of the things you mentioned is so the difference between the arcs and the betas. So the betas tend to give more feedback. Um,
Mm.
for well, as far as my experience, and I do stand to be corrected. But when I've
Yeah.
been on a beta team, one of the ways in which this happened was it was a Google Doc, and you could add
Mm.
in the comments there, and the author would consider it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that felt so exciting because I was literally watching the story unfold. And funnily enough,
Mm.
before I got into ARC, I had the chance to beta read for a friend of mine. So she is also a South African author, and I was
Mm.
unwell for a long time. And so to cheer me up, she offered
Mm.
me the unfinished chapters of her debut novel. And then I nagged her until she published it. So it feels really fun to be a part of something like that.
Okay. Roxanne is asking, have you ever encountered an author you are great for and didn't receive constructive criticism? Well, sorry about that.
I'm gonna have to say no. Reason being, um, the authors that I have are great for, I really loved their work. My
Yeah.
comments probably were not helpful, but it was more along the lines of, oh my God, this scene, like, yes, I can imagine it, or yes, go girl, like that type
Yeah.
of vibe. So I'm happy that it hasn't been that type of situation. I think that if I was in that situation though, I would do my best to be diplomatic and also
Yeah.
use the sandwich method, which is kindness, the critique, and kindness again.
Yeah. And to answer Roxanne's question, as a beta reader myself, um, I think when it comes to beta reading, the goal is to perfect the manuscript, not to nance each other's feelings. Because if we do that, then the book comes out, and then you're like, why didn't you tell me this? And I'm like, oh, I was scared to hurt your feelings, which I think. So when beta reading, I'm a beta reader, so I'm gonna stick to that side. When beta reading, I'm going to leave comment and say, I think this. What do you think? I
Yeah.
think this should be like this, and I feel like A, B, and C, and we get to talk about it more like how a editor and a writer get to talk.
Yes. I think, and to also build on that, I think recently, I hadn't meant to, but I just mentioned in passing when I was reading a manuscript, because I
Mhm.
was nagging another person. So if ever you have chapters and you need to get it moving, let me know
Mm.
and I will happily nag you. But I was reading this manuscript and I said, gosh, I'd really love to get into this character's mind. And then I got the POV and I thought that was so wonderful. And Kat, you're
Yeah.
so right in saying that this is not about, people's egos and like hurting their
Mm.
feelings. But it's also, we're
Yes.
not out to attack. It's more like
Mm.
your
How to
crown.
help.
Yeah, your crown was just a little bit off center. I'm just adjusting it there.
Mm. Yeah, love that. So, do you rate books after reading, and how do you rate your books?
So that is a really good question. So I feel like I haven't really been rating them in terms of like 5 stars, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I rate it in terms of how it makes me feel. And I think that if anyone's watched my bookish content, they can
Mm-hmm.
tell just by watching when I really like this book has really touched my soul, like it's been so powerful, or it's made me laugh, or it's been sort of something that kept me wanting more and more. So
Mm.
I guess I do rate it, but not in the conventional way.
Love that. So, do you believe in DNFing books, or you just soldier through?
Okay, so cat. So Previously, I would have said no. I always try and soldier through, but I'm gonna say recently, actually, I encountered a book that, even though I wanted to know how it ended, I couldn't bring myself to finish it because just I felt like there was no correlation between things. And so I still would say, maybe that's not for me, but it's for somebody else. Um,
Yes.
but at the same time, I think like it's okay if it's not for us. It's okay if maybe something is, it's poking at a trigger for you,
Yeah.
and you take a moment and you're like, not right now. So I think like we can always revisit it. It's not that I'm gonna put it down and I'm never gonna pick it up again. But yeah, maybe just not right now because
Yeah.
the world is traumatizing us enough. Let's not traumatize ourselves
No, you're
anymore.
fighting with a book. You're fighting to finish a book. So somebody once said to me, it's okay not to like a book. It's not every book that you will read and like. You not liking a book doesn't mean that is a bad book. It's just not for
Yeah.
you at the time, and maybe you're just not relating it to it. For example, in May I started the name is running away. A thousand splendid suns. I read it.
Mm.
I was 100 pages in. I was like, I can't. This is not for me. Let me just put it away for now because it's breaking my heart. And now I'm starting to get sad reading this book. It's a
Mm.
good book, but I don't like how it's making me feel. Just like you, I rate books based on how they make me feel. So I put it away. And then last month I picked it up and read it again. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
okay. It seems now I was now in a better space and I could read it. I was like, oh, I wish I had read and finished it in the, the first time. But yeah, I'm sorry everybody if I'm not reading your comments. So usually the first hour is just me and the guest, and then the last 30 minutes that's when I open questions. So sometimes I don't read your comments because I'm focusing on the guest. So please, if you have any questions, save them for 9 o'clock. Thank you so much. Um, so what is one book that you always recommend? Did you get that? Or my network is low?
Oh, gosh, Kat, you really bring the question.
Bringing the
You
question.
you really bring those questions. Um, it's so hard to say. Um, wow. Okay, I will tell you. So it's actually a book I haven't finished yet, but it is Footprints on the Moon by Nirvashni Naidu. Local South African author, respect for, and this is her debut novel. So her two poetry books are anthologies, and so with this book, the reason why I'll say I'll recommend it to everybody, even though I haven't finished it, is because if you are a young person and
Yeah.
you read that, you can save yourself from a lot of heartache. I actually wondered, do all jerks go to the same school? Do they study their jerkery at this one academy? Because I could relate so much. And I feel like, especially as women in South Africa, um, if we could recognize these toxicity aspects in people, we could save ourselves from a lot of heartache and trouble. So, Footprints on the Moon, Nirvashni Naidu, that's the one I would recommend.
Lovely. Everybody listening, write that down. We are going to read that book and we are going to get back at Raj. So Shavon is asking if you have a bubble machine because you have bubbles popping in front of you. So we also want them. Put them
Um,
to us, please.
so because I can't see what's on my camera, I thought maybe if like it was because I hadn't chosen a filter or anything. So I was just tapping randomly and it's the bubble one now. So, but I still can't see anything.
It's so nice. I will show you the video after this. There are bubbles. Is saying two different things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
A book can be good, but it won't be liked by all. Very
Yes.
true. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so if I'm butchering it, just send me a voice note of how to pronounce it. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Okay, I hope I didn't miss anyone's question. Name one series that is your all-time favorite.
Oh, yes. So, sorry, just not getting so excited. I'm heading into cupboards. So, I would have to say it is the Arjuna series by oh Lindsay Sands. So,
Mhm.
can I tell you about it?
Yes, please. Yes, please. We would love to know about it.
So, this is vampire romance, and
Yes.
the
I love
idea is
vampires, by
that
the way.
same
Vampires and dragons. I'm sorry for interrupting.
and
Vampires and dragons.
shapeshifters and magic. Yes.
Yes, please.
Um, so with this, yes, I've been waiting for this question. I didn't even know I was waiting for it. But the idea behind it is that before the city of Atlantis fell, the civilization there was incredibly advanced, okay? And so when they were trying to treat illnesses like cancer, they created these nanobots that could be injected into the body. They would travel through the body to rectify whatever is wrong. But here's the problem. They work through metabolizing your blood, but the human body is perpetually under attack. Sun damage, aging, there's always
Yeah.
something to be fixed. And so people needed more blood for these nanobots to continue. Hence, the first creation of blood banks, right? And so getting your IV bloods. But the problem is when the city of Atlantis flooded, right? And it worked like a science experiment where of the 6 people, 2 went crazy, 2 had hybrid conditions, and 2 were fine. But when the city of Atlantis fell, those who were able to survive emerged into a world where civilization was still in caves. And so their bodies adapted in order to ensure that they could still survive. So they could see in the dark, they had supersonic hearing, and the fangs. And then we come to modern day life.
Yes.
And you follow the different love stories of people. I think I've gotten about 13 or 14 books in. And each story is so powerful. There are women who are divorced. There are women who have come from abusive relationships. There are men who have never found that love that they sought. And so it's not your conventional love story, but it is so incredibly beautiful. And I think I love the idea of fated mates as well.
I also love it. I wish I wish I was born in that time, even though they say it don't exist. And there was a time when I was like, if there was ever to be vampires or something, I would love to be a vampire. I don't care about everything else. Just bite me and turn me into one of you.
Well,
Just
technically, I
turn me.
mean,
I
I'm
wouldn't
allergic to the
mind.
sun and I have to stay indoors. So I can't be in the sun. And I mean, I'm okay to have IV fluids. So I can join you in that.
Okay. So if you were to choose just between us girls, don't mind the others, would you choose to be a vampire or a werewolf? Between the two.
Vampire, hands down.
See you and I are gonna be friends. I will also choose to be a vampire any day.
Look,
Okay.
I'm bad enough
So
and
do
just
you
like I
think?
howl at the moon. So
Mm. Do you think people should rate books that they DNF'd? If yes, why? If no, why also?
I don't think they should rate it, but I think that they should share an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be online or even if it's in their own reading journal, make a note of why you didn't like it. Because then you can always refer back and be like, okay, maybe that wasn't the best time for me. Or yeah, I still really hate that trope. But definitely share the reasons and don't just sort of cut it out.
Yeah. Nunegas is saying, I guess I'm the only one who loves wolves.
Nunakazi, oh, we also like wolves.
We love them. We don't love the turning part, the painful turning part on the full
Really?
moon. We don't like that. It seems painful even watching it.
Because right now we would not be able to have this conversation.
I mean,
It's the full moon now.
we'll be outside there. So who is your, sorry, your network is behind, so I think we are clashing. Who is your auto-buy author?
Oh, very good question. I think it would actually have to be Shanae Tuck. She's written from a very authentic standpoint. And I think that that's what makes for a good autobiography. I think if I had to choose someone internationally, I'd choose Dana Gillespie, mostly because she embodies what a lot of women struggle for, which is to be free and to live their lives on their terms. And she's so unapologetically herself. And I just think that's wonderful.
Lovely. What's one trope you feel like authors are abusing?
Age gap romance. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. If it is vampires where you're centuries old, okay. But if you're just that creep at 40, being a predator to people at 21, no, no.
The edge gate, please.
Yeah.
Please. But then the thing is that most of those books, the guy is always 100,000 years old, and the girl is always 17. I'm like, go to 21 or something. Why does she have to be? Or maybe they're targeting high school or something. But I'm like, just go above 20s or something. Make her
So
29.
this is why I love the Lindsay Sands vampire books because the love interests are always like in their 30s. So that makes me happy.
Yes. Because sometimes you read and then everything is cool, but then when you think of the age, you cringe. You're like, ah, 17. 17 is so young. The story is cool, but no. So, what is your favorite trope?
Ah, I think Fated Mates. I think definitely Fated Mates because it falls in with Touch Her and I, which is also very important. Um, but I feel like the idea that there's one person that's just meant for you and you are for them, and that it can be pure and non-toxic and non-violent. Yeah, I think that just makes me happy. What about you?
Enemies to lovers. I love it so much. I love the enemies to lovers. Um, on the fated mates, usually, or should I say most of the time, it's always two brothers and one girl. How do you feel about that? It's either two
Mm-mm.
brothers or two friends, two boys or two whatever, and one girl.
See, this is why I think that sometimes lost the plot when it comes to fated mates because it's fated. No one's gonna even come close to competing for your attention.
Mm,
And
yeah.
also I don't like the idea of like putting siblings against each other for the sake of someone that could be possibly fickle. So give us true fated mates.
But I feel like the one brother is there for the suspense. I don't know, to keep
But
the
why
story
are we
going.
sacrificing him? What about his love story?
And the funny part is that the non-chosen one is the one closest to the girl. And I'm like, why? Just give her the girl. And then the rude and arrogant one that doesn't even look her way is the chosen one. They're like, we want that one. The bad brother. The oh, authors just want to stress us. They enjoy
Yes.
seeing us stressed. um, I'm going back to our question. What's your take on age gaps in books? Hi, Kat. Welcome.
So I think that if the age gap doesn't affect the power dynamic, then it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. But because there's so much of pandering to the patriarchy, we see that it's always put forth as though you're a trophy, or as though, particularly the women, are viewed as an object. And I'm not a fan of that. So I think that's more on why I'm not such a fan of it, because I feel like it bypasses everything good about you as a woman and just looks at you as an accessory. And I think you could be so much more than that. You're the whole outfit.
They treat the woman like a trophy, like the brothers or whatever men are supposed to fight for her or something. So what is your reading goal this year? Tell us about that, and how many books in are you?
So I haven't actually set a goal. I think I have
Mhm.
times where it kind of ebbs and flows. So there are times where I would go for maybe a while without reading something that really brings me joy. And then there's times where I
Mhm.
find a series, especially if there's a good couple of books in it, and then I cannot put that book down for the life of me. So I think my goal for reading is more reading things that give me joy, like monster romance, which right now seems to be my shift from historical is now onto monster romance.
Mhm.
And yeah, as many as I possibly can.
Okay. Um, I really love having a reading call. It makes me seem a little organized or something. Like I'm reading towards something. I know I'm going to
Mm,
be reading this many books this year, and it's just fun having to tick that one off, like done and dusted. So, have you ever done a readathon? And would you
I
consider doing
haven't.
one? Mm-hmm.
I haven't as yet, but yeah, I would definitely give it a try.
Do you think you'll be able to survive maybe 12 or 24 hours reading nonstop?
Yes. Yes, because so recently, when I say recent, I mean like a month ago, there
Mhm.
was about 40 something hours where there was no electricity in my area. And I
Mhm.
survived thanks to a friend of mine and her books. And
Yeah.
I don't sleep much, so I was awake through pretty much all of that time. And I was reading, so yes, give me the readathon.
We'll invite you next time we have one. We had one here in June. Yeah. First
Mhm.
week of June. And it was fun having to read with other readers and updating each other about how it's going. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do another one soon. But when it's not cold, the way we
Yeah.
got cold that night, it was so cold. It was so cold. So do you, sorry, my mind is, sorry about that. Do you reread your favorite books?
Yes,
So how do you
absolutely.
feel? How do you feel like going through a book that you've read?
So I feel like it's very nuanced because what I take from it at different points in time will always vary. What
Mm-hmm.
may have really troubled me at one time, I'll find the clarity in at another time. And that which I've enjoyed, hey, I get to enjoy it
Mm.
again. So yeah, I'm all for rereading because
Yeah.
especially if, like, for example, you just shared a particular series with a friend and then now you're going to read it with them. That also makes it fun. So yes to the rereading, and sorry to Cozy that you crashed out.
We were cold, but it was fun. We had fun because we crashed out, but we had fun. Oh, it was cold, and this year is very cold. Um, what is one thing you wish to see more in books?
I wish to see more representation in terms of people of color, in terms of people of different cultural backgrounds and regions. I'd love to see more in terms of disability awareness. I'd love to see more in terms of LGBTQIA plus community. So yeah, I'd love to see more than what I've seen thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and also I'd love to see more size inclusivity. I'd love to see more people feel seen in the books that they read. And a great thing that I have noticed is that the authors that I see now look a lot different from the authors that I grew up reading. And I think that's a good thing.
Mm, yeah. Um, welcome to everybody that just joined. We are having a bookish question and answers with Raj. So if you just joined, you are not too late. You're not that late. We are just halfway through the show. And just a quick reminder, do not forget to pre-order my coming book, A Love That Remains. If you go to my profile, the link is on my bio. So I'll be expecting everybody's pre-orders. Otherwise, I'm knocking on people's doors. I'm knocking on people's doors. Excuse me. Kat is saying her network sucks today. Oh, very sorry. The network is really bad at night. I don't know what goes on at night, but the network is really bad.
I think it's
So,
because
what
there's
is
more of
one
us
book
on the net.
you are ashamed you haven't read yet?
Sorry, you were saying?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said I think
No,
that
say what you wanted to say.
the reason why the internet's so bad at night is because everyone else is hounding it.
Yes, everybody's back from work, catching up on everything that was going on during the day. So yeah. My
Yes,
question
sorry, I'm
was,
just adjusting this so I can sit down.
no problem, no problem.
Taking my bubble machine with me.
No problem.
My pretend bubble machine, of course. Ooh, can everyone still see me?
Okay, are you good?
I'm all good. We
Are
can
you
go
good now?
ahead. Yeah.
Okay. What is one book you are ashamed you haven't read yet?
Ooh. Oh, there's many.
Would love to know.
There are so many, but I think one would actually be a book that I was told about today, which I've seen come up a couple of times and I just haven't gotten a chance yet. I think it's called You
Mhm,
Don't Owe Anyone Pretty. I think that's what it's called. Because I've heard such good reviews on it. And
mhm,
yeah, I'm ashamed to say that there's a lot of good books that I haven't read simply because I was chasing a particular genre at a time. So maybe because I was more into historical, so I wasn't willing to consider fantasy. And then I was into fantasy and I wasn't willing to consider thriller. And then I was in thriller. So yeah, so many. But life's a long time and there are many books to read.
Yes. Yes. Kat is asking, how do you feel when reading a book that has words that are not translated? Maybe it's another language and it's not translated.
That's a very good question. Thank you, Kat. It oftentimes I will reach out and search for it so that I can understand better because I want to know. And I think I'm okay with it because of the fact that I know that I'm not necessarily someone's targeted demographic when they've written, and I'm okay with that. But also, I think because I had such a love for historical romance, and I do love books that are set in like Scotland and Ireland. So I became accustomed to the fact that I may not necessarily understand what those words mean or even how they are pronounced. Oh, so Kat says like vernacular that's not translated to English. Now that's when I feel ashamed. Especially especially because I'm a part of a diaspora, and so not understanding it makes me wish so much that I did or that I spoke it, so that I could understand it. And in a way, it's a good thing because it means that it forces me to learn, right? Then I have to learn because I want to know. I need to know. But I will say this. I have learned that English is not as beautiful as the vernacular because there are some things that get lost in translation because English just simply does not have the words to express. And that is something that is a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, I understand you. Honestly, on my side, I just look at the words and move. I don't even look them up. I don't know. I don't even look them up. And the current book that I'm reading, there is some, I think it's French. I'm like browsing through. I don't even know what they're saying. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm just reading. But I love it when people translate so that we know. We want to know what they are saying. We want to know. What's one advice you would give an author as a avid reader?
Um, oh, again, such a good question. Advice. I would say share more of yourself because yes, there are people who will read your books because maybe they've liked one or maybe it's come recommended to them. But there are so many people who will connect with you and read your books because they've connected with you. So I would say bite the bullet and be vulnerable because that will actually help more people to read your books.
So when you say he's vulnerable, what do you mean?
Sorry?
When you say vulnerable, what do you mean?
I mean, like, see, I think it comes from being a writer that you try to make your writing perfect. And so you want to only be appearing polished when you will be perceived. So the vulnerability in that aspect is like, even if it's not the best hair day, like post your selfie because you felt good in it, or you know, share your thoughts on, hey, this is the book that I really liked, that type of thing. So yeah, be vulnerable, be true to who you are.
Last week we had Kat. She said, write something you would want to read.
Yes.
So yeah. Write something, even if you feel like it's talking cows, as long as you enjoy that and you think somebody is going to enjoy that, just write it. You
I've
will find your audience.
I've also heard that people say that read what you needed. Sorry, write what you needed to read.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely.
We should be happy reading instead of fighting with books. Fighting with now you're angry because a book is not making you happy. You're like, hi, this book, when is it ending? Like, you can see that. I think I think you should read something that you love. Reading should be fun, and I feel like
Yes.
people, us in the book talk community, and just as a person, we are scared to say, no, this book is not for me because we think
Mm.
it's going to make us look bad. But it's okay. Just say you don't like it, but don't be mean. As you say it, sandwich
Mm.
it with some kindness. Just say, no, I didn't like it, which is fine. It's okay. You didn't like it. No one is going to fight you. You bought it, you didn't like it. People are so scared. They're so scared to say, I know, I didn't like it. There's a question for you. Please recommend fantasy books.
Okay. So fantasy Rex. I would say anything by Carolyn Kenyon, Carolyn Sparks, Maggie Mayhem, um, Katrina Bell. Those authors are so phenomenal. They literally create worlds. If you're looking in the South African context, I would say look for Anoshi Seretsky because Jewel Howen is top class. Absolutely phenomenal. There are more that are coming out during the course of this year. So I would say definitely keep an eye on your local fantasy writers because there is so much
Yeah.
good talent right here.
Roxanne is also recommending the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I hope you got that and you wrote them down. Um, do you prefer fiction or non-fiction? I think we
Fiction,
all
any
know
day,
where you are.
every day, all day. Fiction.
We all know where you are. We all know the side you choose. If you were to have dinner with one book character, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Now, you see, the problem is that I would worry that I would like this character too much. And like I also want for the co-character in the book to still have her happily ever after. But I would
Mhm.
say there's a character called Matt in Karen Moffat's book Free and Kariba. Perfectly sweet, perfect gentleman, kind, compassionate. I think we'd have a great conversation.
Mhm. So, would you mind stealing him from his suitor or whatever it is? Can you
That's
fight
the
and win?
that's the problem. I'll feel bad because like I love the character of Kariba as well. So I won't
Mhm.
fight her, but I would enjoy a nice dinner out. Purely platonic.
Questions are getting mixed up. What is your favorite book at the moment today?
Today. Right now.
Mhm.
Um hmm. I would say The Pumpkin Ban, which strangely enough, it's not fiction. Um, but the reason
It's a
why I would
non-fiction.
yeah, the reason why I would choose The Pumpkin Ban by Martin Palders is because it tackles something very important, which is gender-based violence. And it is looking
Mhm.
at the experiences of men and boys. And obviously, this has a rather large impact in the society we live in. And why I'll say it's my favorite book right now is because it takes a proactive approach in terms of reading through that trauma, helping people to deal with it so that they can break those cycles of violence. So, yeah, Martin Pelder's The Pumpkin Van. Get a copy, you will not regret it.
Thank you for the recommendation. Asa is asking, The Lord of the Rings, do you know the book?
I've heard of it, but I have not read it.
Mhm.
I haven't watched the movies. All that I know is that there are hobbits and the dude that goes, "Nah, what's up?"
Okay, so we have authors watching. Kindly tell us about your, should I say, services or what you do as an
Okay.
art reader, as an art reader and as a book talker. What services you offer for our precious authors?
So I do a couple of things. I do ARC and beta and as well as street teams.
Mhm.
I'm also, so this was a really interesting experience for me because I'm usually on the other side of this. I host the author
Yeah.
interview. So there's those. I do live reads, and at the moment, I'm working on narration for an audiobook. So
Mhm.
as a voice artist, that's a part of what I offer. I'm in my capacity as the reading fairy. I do live reads at schools and things like that. I do also record these videos. And so it's just to help for parents who, yes, they've had a long day, but they still want for their child to have story time. So it's a way in which I can assist in that and also spread the word about some local kids' books.
Mm. Somebody's asking, do you know 50 Shades Darker?
Yes, I do. Um, I think the perspective from what's his face, Christian Grey, was interesting,
Mhm.
but I feel like it may have led people to overly empathize with aspects of abuse instead of
Mm.
focusing on healing our own trauma. And so that was actually what I took from that series, that there are instances of abuse and trauma, and that those are the things that need to be addressed. And it was just very thinly veiled in the story.
Very true. And I feel like the book is darker than the movie. People who read the book will see the darker side of Christian Grey.
Mm,
I feel like on the movie we were like, oh, the billionaire, da 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 da, and we didn't quite get to grasp
yes,
that man was really
it was
damaged.
deranged.
He had trauma and he was using that as an escape, and people
Yes,
don't know he's just freaky, things like that. And I feel like if you throw in intimate scenes, people just be like, oh, intimate scene. They don't get to look at everything else because
yes.
that book, there's a lot of them. Um, okay, we are going to open questions now. If you have any questions for Raj, please send them through. Um, if you have any questions, you're both good conversations. I like this. I'm first this time live. Do you have any group or something? No, we don't have any group, but we do host the lives every Mondays and Fridays, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So if you have any questions, kindly send them through. We are going to take questions from now until 1:30. Did you get that? I think your network froze for a second. Can you
We're
hear
waiting
me?
on questions.
I'm asking, what are you currently reading?
Oh, funnily enough, nothing. And that's just
What's
been,
going on?
that's just been because
What is
I've been
going
so
on?
busy that I've just been so busy that I haven't had a chance to read for joy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if I were, I would reach for a monster romance because I'm really fond of them.
Mm-hmm. Um, you guys can send through your questions. Any questions? Or are you guys sleeping?
I think they're cold. Like so that they curled up and then they were enjoying the
It is
entertainment,
very
but
cold.
sleep came there.
It is very cold. My question is about, let me see. Maybe TikTok swallowed it. I didn't see it. No, I can't see it. I can only see my precious. Your question is not here. Oh, have you ever been exposed to Facebook stories?
How do you mean?
So, there are authors, including me and Delight. We write on Facebook. We write like chapters every day, and people just read our work there. So
Oh
that is what
wow.
she's asking.
I
Do you read
haven't,
there?
but that sounds really nice. I'm definitely gonna check it out now that I know.
We started there. No, I cannot see your question, Delight. I, I can only see the one saying my question is above. I cannot see the actual question. Please resend it if you can. I feel like there are people who actually don't know about Facebook diaries because we do write on Facebook and things like that. Are you a fan of happy endings?
Yes. I feel like life is too sorrowful as it is. So I'm so happy when characters like are happy and they end up happy together. And I hope that they stay happy together. And
Hmm.
if they're not happy together, then that they will be happy apart.
They should be happy either way. Do you judge books by their covers?
Um, I try not to,
Mhm.
but sometimes if a cover is particularly quirky, then I will leap into that book in the hope that it is as well.
Understand you. Um, Send through your questions. There's somebody saying you should say hi.
Hi. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
Kat is saying I'm not on Facebook. I've heard of the writing there. Yeah, the Facebook streets. I'm glad you're not there. I'm I'm saying I'm sorry, my mind is glitching. I'm glad you know about it. Sorry. I'm saying I'm glad you know about it. That is where most authors start. I also started there before I published. So I'm glad also you, Raj, you got to found out about it, and hopefully we'll see you that side in the Facebook streets. I'm glitching, Delight. I didn't mean I didn't mean it like that. How have you grown as a reader?
Oh wow, that's a really good question, Delight. I think that I've grown as a reader in terms of being able to say when I need to stop with the book, when I feel like it's too much for me. And I think that's not something that we've always known how to do. Well, I say we, but me. Um, and I think
Mhm.
also in terms of genre, because I used to only be into particular genres, and now I'm open to reading things that are even nonfiction, and I'm also open to reading things outside of my favorite genres. So yeah,
Lovely. What do you look out for when reading, storyline or style of writing?
definitely storyline, because I know that styles of writing can really vary. And as long as it's pretty easy to follow along, I'll be fine with it. As long as, because that story is gonna grip me and like pull me into the pages, I'm all for it. And I think that's in part because I've been exposed to many different styles of writing and authors from different places that I have this type of approach. But yeah,
Mm.
storyline every time.
I also feel like if you love a certain writer, you just love their style of writing. Anything they write, you like, just give me, just give me, and I'll
Yeah.
read. Are you able to read multiple books at once?
Hmm. I prefer not to. I prefer to like
Mhm.
read one, finish it, especially because I do read quite fast. So on average, let's say there's like 400 pages in a book. For me, I can do that in a day. So I feel like because of that, I just read one at a time. Um,
Mhm.
maybe also because otherwise I'll be looking for the wrong character in the wrong book.
You remembering the other book. I also think I would actually mix them up. But there are people who can read like more than three books at
Oh yeah.
once. What do you think of slow burns?
Um, I think they can be nice as long as when it burns, it's a raging inferno.
Yeah. Um, what's your threshold on grammatical errors? Do you continue or do you stop?
I continue. I'm okay with the grammatical errors because also sometimes people write in the way that they speak, and that differs from region to region. And what to me may seem or I may perceive that as being incorrect, to another person makes perfectly logical sense. As long as I can decipher it, I'll be okay with it. But if it is
Mm.
like way too intense, then actually, no. I don't think I've ever stopped reading because of that type of error. I've stopped if it
Mm.
felt nonsensical to me, but never for an error, no.
Understandable. Kat is asking for tips on reading fast. She's saying she's slow lately.
I don't think the speed necessarily matters, especially like if it's books that you like. I think a
Mhm.
good point to start from would be with books that you like, and then it'll naturally go faster. But on
Mm.
the flip side, reading so fast means I don't get to enjoy my favorite books for a very long time. So you're actually better off than me, Kat.
In a review, do you mind if they are spoilers?
No, I don't mind. I'm okay with it because then like I'm excited. I'm looking for it as I'm reading. It's something to look forward to. So no, I don't mind if there are spoilers. I know that there are some people who are like no, but I'm not one of them.
So, how do you choose books when buying? Do you buy based on knowing the author, or you just pick a book that interests you and you just buy it?
So I actually have not bought very many books because I grew up going to the library so much. Um, and so I think that is why I haven't bought many because I mean, I had my library card and my brother's. So I would just get a whole ton of it. But now that I am in a capacity to, it does partially come from knowing the authors or if I'm familiar with their work. So, for example, I'll always want to pick up a Lindsay Sands. I'll always want to pick up a Hannah Howell. I'll always reach for a Harlan Coben, that type of thing. And so, yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Lovely. Ever been disappointed by a famous book talk recommendation?
I wonder. I'm actually trying to think back. Like, what have I read that I read because it was trending? Oh my God! Yes. Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. In two instances. Um. So one would actually have to be Bridgerton. I So I watched the series and then I found out that it was based on books. And then I saw on TikTok that people were recommending you read the books. I did not even bother to finish the series because a cinematic adaptation should never be better than the book. I firmly
Yeah.
believe that. The book should always reign supreme. And another one would be You and Hidden Bodies. Because again, the adaptation should never have been better than the book.
I feel like also on the adaptation, they get to polish a lot and fix a lot compared to the book. You know, if there is something that they didn't like in the book.
That's true, but on the other hand, I think, see, like if you look at Bridgerton, right? First two seasons, phenomenal. And then when the showrunner changed, then the quality diminished. And so, yes, Kat, absolutely, Bridgerton is tricky. But I think with Netflix, it becomes a bit challenging because you don't necessarily know that those were books until you've watched the series and people are talking about it online, and then they're saying those were books.
And I also didn't know Bridgerton had books. And after watching the series, I was like, I'm not gonna touch the books. I'm not going to. As somebody who cannot reread books, I feel like if I already know how it's going to end, and it spoils it for me. For example, I first watched the Fault in Our Stars, and then I read the book, and I could tell the similarities between the live action and the book, and also Twilight. I feel like the books are more fun than the movie. Edward in the movie was just a walking stone, and in the book, he was actually a humorous person and he was fun. And we actually understand why Bella liked him. But in the movie, I'm like, just choose Jacob. Just go
Yes.
for him because I didn't quite understand it. And I wish I had read the books first. Even Kosi's agreeing with me. She's saying Twilight, the books are awesome. They're very nice. I still haven't read Breaking Dawn. It's so thick and I'm scared. Scared for my life. Are you there, Raj? I think I'm losing you. The network is a bit shaky.
Yes, I'm here. So Delight's asking if I've ever loved a side character more than the main character.
Mhm.
No, and I think that's a good thing. There was one series that I read where, okay, so if you read the Winter Bliss books, these are by Katrina Bell, Lucy Limon, and Locke Green. And each of their books has a side character that the next book features as the main character. And
Mm-hmm.
as much as like maybe a side character did catch my attention, it never took away from the main character.
On my side, for some reason, I always love the side characters more than the actual MC. I don't know. Sometimes the author gives the side characters so much so much character, if I can call it that. They are side characters that just bring the humor, bring the fun to the book,
Mm,
and then you're like, oh, I love this one. I think that's why sometimes a book will be a standalone, and the author be like, let me just give this one a story. I feel like people are going to love this person. Do you prefer
yeah.
standalones or series?
Series all the time, because if I find that it's good, I want more.
Mm. Uh, uh, Cause you're talking about Mkondo from where? I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, I think she's talking about another book. Okay, we have 19 minutes left. You can send more of your questions if you have any questions. I hope I didn't leave anyone's questions. And what do you think of books with more than 6 installations?
If it's good, keep it coming.
So are you those people who buy the full series or you buy per book? Do you trust somebody that much that maybe if it's a 4-part series, do you just buy all of them
Um,
or you first give it a try? Did you get
see,
that?
I think it goes back to what I mentioned earlier about growing up going to the library so much. Yeah. Um, Going to the library so much meant that I was often able to get like a whole series on one library card. And
Hi,
so
Irene.
then like if I've read the first one or if I know it's in a series,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the whole batch. I will get the full batch of books as soon as I know that there are multiple, because I want to know everything and I don't want to have to wait.
I'm always one to also want to get the full series. I hate waiting, especially those books that aren't out yet. I'm like, ah, now I have to wait a whole year for a book to come out. So sometimes I just wait it out and wait for the author to just
Yeah.
release them all and just give me. Ever read a book and felt like the author was writing about you?
Yes. It was quite recently. And
Mm-hmm.
that was really astounding. And so it's, I will probably finish it sometime in the future. Um, I'll probably speak to my psychiatrist when I am reading that again, because it felt so much like it was about me.
Yeah, some books just connect with us. You read it and you like, I needed this book. I needed to read it and just something about it, eh? Um, Hi Irene, we are asking Raj questions and we have mm, 14 minutes left. If you have any question, any bookish question for her, feel free to send it. Any more questions, good people? If you have any questions, you can send them through. Ever read a book that made you cry?
Yes. Um, Actually, often there are books that make me cry. And I think it's especially when there's a very loaded emotional scene. That is something that will drive me to tears because I feel for those characters. I know they're not real people, but
Yeah.
my heart does not wish to comprehend that they're not real people. So I'm
Mm.
more likely to cry because something feels so sweet in a book. So yeah.
They are real in a way. We want them to feel real when writing. We want you to feel, even though it's fiction, we want you to relate, to just feel something. What's your thought on audiobooks?
So I'm definitely a fan of it, and I am saying that because I'm currently working on narrating for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually haven't listened to a full audiobook, and I think it's because I enjoy reading so much. But I think that
I
audiobooks
don't know
are
your
phenomenal
network,
because
but
there are
you
lots of things.
froze.
Hi, can you hear me again?
Yeah, I think I can
Cat?
hear you now. You froze for a second, but yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that audiobooks are phenomenal in terms of accessibility because whether you are blind, you're visually impaired, your vision is fading, maybe brain fog is happening, or you're just busy
Mhm.
and you don't have time to sit down with a book, but you still want to enjoy your story.
Mm.
Absolutely, yes. Wholeheartedly, yes. Go for the audiobook. Because I enjoy reading the conventional way so much, I haven't listened to a full audiobook, but I will encourage people to enjoy their books however they can. And if audiobooks are the way, absolutely. And I hope that you'll enjoy when I narrate them too.
Mhm. Your network, or is it mine? I'm not sure. Like you are breaking. I don't know if others can hear you, but I hope they can. Irene is asking, what's your favorite genre? Hi,
It
Lainey.
changes,
Hope
Arini.
you do.
Um, for the longest time, it was historical romance, and then
Mhm.
it became fantasy fiction, and right now it is monster romance.
Lovely. I would love to try Monster Romance. I feel like it's something that I would love. I think it's my thing.
I think
Do
you'll
you
enjoy
ever,
it.
yeah. Do you ever have dreams based on the books you are reading about?
I don't, but if I did, that would be really cool.
It must be cool because those people are in our heads and now you're seeing them and you're like
Yeah.
Kosi is asking what's monster romance?
So I guess vampires can fall under monster romance at times, but that's monster romance looks at minotaurs and angels and shapeshifters. So, and if there's dragons, that type of thing. And it's basically usually those creatures and humans.
Yeah. Any more questions, good people? We have 10 minutes left. If you have any questions for Raj, please send them through. And if you are an author and need help with ARC reading and beta reading, Raj is your person. Do you like it when authors experiment, or do you prefer when they stick to a genre they excel at?
Oh, I'm all for them experimenting because at the end of it all, they write because it's a creative expression of themselves. And I want for them to express themselves. And honestly, I've seen such amazing crossovers. Karen Moffat did Wild Fates trilogy and then she did Freeing Kariba. Nirvashni Naidu did Where the Lotus Flower Blooms and Flowers of the Earth. And now she's done Footprints on the Moon. So I think it's wonderful when they experiment because that's how they can excel at multiple things.
Mm. Are you a loud and commentary or silent reader?
I'm a combination of the two. Sometimes I react as though it's a reality series and there's a camera, and I'm like, um, but I think I'm a whispered commentary reader.
Do you also throw your books across the room when they are frustrating you?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We don't abuse our books that way. They are to be cherished and treasured.
We love our books. How do you find your books? Like
Definitely.
from recommendations, or do you do research online or in stores?
So usually I find my books because of the author's posting. So a lot of books that I've read because the authors were posting about it on Instagram or TikTok, that type of thing. Um, so yeah, I think that for me is a really big thing. Um, Recommendations vary. I mean, you could tell me that this is a really good book, but it's like what maybe I don't perceive it the same way. So I think that's why, like, if I see an author put out a post, whether it's a quote from the book or they're describing what the book is about, that is the most likely way to get me to read it.
Okay. Kat is asking, what's your record reading PA? I'm not sure what PA stand for.
Per year, per annum.
Oh, PA.
Um,
Okay.
I, I'd be lying if I could actually answer that because I don't think I've ever kept track of it. I don't think I've ever kept track of it. I think back when I was in school, before academics took precedence, it used to be 14 books every week. Um, but because I read in ebbs and flows, and I've never actually thought about counting it before. But thank you for asking me that because now I'll start counting.
You must record your reading goal or something. Um, if you ever had to be stuck on an island with two books for 3 years, which ones would it be?
Okay, very good question. And for that, I would say it would be two books from scripture. Reason being, they are very long. So it should give me
You
enough
take time.
time to get through all of this. Yeah.
Mm,
I would do the Shakti Purana, definitely.
mhm.
And I'd read the Vedas because that encompasses so much of life. I mean, in the hypothetical where I could read Sanskrit, those are the two that I would read.
Yeah. So, do you think you would read them fast or slower since you're stuck? Do you think you read them slower, maybe?
No,
Your day.
I think maybe I would slow down really fast.
Lovely. We don't have any more questions. I think we are going to wrap up now. Thank you so much, Raj. There's a question. An FMC you forever have a soft spot for?
Oh, who asked it, by the way? May I ask? I can't see.
Delight.
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 Delight has all the interesting questions. I love it. She always comes loaded with cool questions.
I think the FMC I'll forever have a soft spot for is Kariba from Karen Moffat's book. And I think the reason for that is because she is so powerful, so vulnerable. She's soft, she's loving, she's human. Yeah, she is like you and I.
Lovely. Yeah, she always has the interesting questions. Thank you so much, Delight, for always engaging and coming and bringing the good questions. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Raj, for taking your time to join us. It was lovely having you here. Thank you to all the viewers for sticking around until the end. Thank you for the gifts. And yeah, we will see you on Monday. On Monday, we are having our first ever reader panel. So if you're an author, readers will be venting on Monday. On Monday, readers will be venting. So prepare yourselves. Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you for joining us. Have a lovely night. Thank you to the host for bringing us those lives. Thank you so much, Kat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Raj.
Thank you so much, Kat. And thank you also for giving me the opportunity. It's not often that I get to be the one answering the questions instead of asking them. And it's been so lovely to chat about something that is such a big part of my life. So thank you so much for hosting me. And thank you everyone that posted a question, even if you just popped in for like a second. Thank you. And yeah, go pre-order Kat's books.
Yes, please. Okay, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.